Welcome back to Everyday Harvest. If you love flowering vines that explode with color year after year but hate plants that seem to die the moment you look away, then this video is for you. Today, we're talking about 5 secrets to growing clematis that never dies, even if you occasionally forget to water, skip a feeding, or leave the garden unattended for a while. Clematis has a reputation for being difficult, but the truth is that most failures happen because gardeners missed a few simple principles. Once you understand what this plant really wants, it becomes one of the most rewarding climbers you can grow. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to keep your clematis healthy, vigorous, and blooming for years. Clematis is often called the queen of climbing vines because of its incredible flowers. Some varieties produce blooms the size of dinner plates, while others create thousands of smaller flowers that cover fences, trellises, and arbors in color. Yet many gardeners bring home a beautiful plant, put it in the ground, and watch it struggle. The leaves turn yellow, growth slows, and eventually the vine disappears. What happened? In many cases, the problem was not the plant itself. The problem was planting and care techniques that worked against the natural needs of clematis. The first secret is understanding the famous saying, "Keep the roots cool and the tops in the sun." This single principle may be the most important rule for long-term clematis success. Clematis loves sunlight on its leaves and flowers. Most varieties need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight each day to bloom heavily. But while the upper part of the plant enjoys warmth and sunshine, the roots prefer cooler conditions. When the root zone becomes excessively hot, the plant experiences stress that can reduce flowering and weaken overall growth. Many gardeners unknowingly create root stress by planting clematis in exposed areas where the soil bakes all afternoon. The vine may survive for a while, but it never reaches its full potential. Instead, create a natural cooling system around the roots. A layer of mulch can make a tremendous difference. Organic materials such as shredded bark, straw, compost, or wood chips help regulate soil temperature and reduce moisture loss. Even a 2 to 3 inch layer can significantly improve growing conditions. Another excellent strategy is planting low-growing companion plants around the base of your clematis. Perennials such as hostas, coral bells, and creeping ground covers provide shade to the soil while allowing the vine to climb freely toward the sunlight. This creates the exact environment clematis evolved to enjoy: cool roots and sunny foliage. When gardeners follow this rule consistently, they often notice stronger growth, greener leaves, and more abundant flowers. Location matters more than many people realize. If possible, choose a spot where the vine receives morning and midday sun but has some protection from the harshest late afternoon heat. In particularly hot climates, this balance can be especially beneficial. The goal is not to deprive the plant of sunlight, but to prevent the root zone from overheating. Once you achieve that balance, your clematis immediately gains a better chance of thriving for years. The second secret is planting deeper than you think you should. Many gardeners treat clematis like other flowering vines and place it at the same depth it grew in the nursery container. This is one of the most common mistakes. Clematis benefits from being planted deeper than many other ornamental plants. In fact, burying part of the stem below soil level can help create a stronger and more resilient plant. When you plant clematis deeply, additional buds along the buried stem can develop underground. These hidden buds serve as a backup system. If disease, pests, accidental damage, or winter injury affect the upper growth, new shoots can emerge from below the soil line. This greatly increases the plant's ability to recover from setbacks that might otherwise kill it. A good guideline is to place the crown several inches below the surrounding soil level. Check the recommendations for your specific variety, but generally, planting deeper than the container depth provides important advantages. This simple adjustment can mean the difference between a short-lived vine and one that flourishes for decades. Proper soil preparation also plays a major role. Clematis prefers fertile, well-draining soil rich in organic matter. Before planting, loosen the soil thoroughly and mix in compost or aged organic material. This improves both drainage and nutrient availability. Heavy clay soils should be amended to prevent waterlogging, while sandy soils benefit from added organic matter that helps retain moisture. After planting, water thoroughly to settle the soil around the roots. Eliminate large air pockets and ensure good root-to-soil contact. During the establishment phase, consistent moisture is especially important. Once established, Clematis becomes more resilient, but those first months are critical for building a strong root system. One reason deep planting works so well is because Clematis is naturally prone to a condition known as clematis wilt. This disease can cause healthy-looking vines to suddenly collapse. Although alarming, plants that were planted deeply often recover because dormant buds below the soil remain unaffected. New growth emerges from the base and the plant starts again. Gardeners who understand this secret rarely panic when problems occur because their vines have a built-in recovery system. The third secret is watering deeply but less frequently. Many gardeners either underwater or overwater clematis. Both extremes can create problems. Constant shallow watering encourages roots to remain near the surface where they're vulnerable to heat and drought. Excessive watering can suffocate roots and promote disease. The goal is to encourage roots to travel deeper into the soil. Deep watering accomplishes this by providing moisture farther below the surface. Instead of giving small daily amounts, water thoroughly so moisture penetrates deeply. Then allow the upper soil layer to begin drying before watering again. This pattern encourages stronger root development and greater drought tolerance. During hot summer weather, newly planted clematis may require more frequent watering. Established plants generally need less attention, but still benefit from occasional deep soaking during extended dry periods. The exact schedule depends on climate, soil type, and rainfall. The key is monitoring soil moisture rather than following a rigid calendar. One simple method is inserting a finger several inches into the soil. If the soil feels dry at that depth, watering may be necessary. If moisture remains present, wait a little longer. This approach helps avoid both overwatering and underwatering. Healthy roots need access to both moisture and oxygen. Mulch again becomes valuable here because it slows evaporation and keeps moisture levels more consistent. Gardeners who mulch effectively often find they water less frequently while maintaining healthier plants. This creates a win-win situation that saves time and reduces stress on the vine. Another advantage of deep watering is improved resilience during vacations or busy periods. Life happens. Sometimes gardening tasks get delayed. A clematis with deep roots can access moisture reserves unavailable to shallow-rooted plants. This allows it to better withstand occasional neglect without suffering major damage. Many experienced gardeners deliberately train their plants to become less dependent on constant watering. By encouraging deep root growth from the beginning, they create vines capable of handling environmental fluctuations. This strategy is one reason some mature clematis plants seem nearly indestructible. The fourth secret is feeding for strength rather than speed. When people think about fertilizing flowering plants, they often focus entirely on producing blooms. While flowers are important, the healthiest clematis vines are built on strong roots, healthy stems, and balanced growth. Excessive fertilizer can actually create problems. Too much nitrogen encourages lush leafy growth at the expense of flowers. It can also produce soft tissue that becomes more vulnerable to pests and disease. Instead of chasing rapid growth, focus on providing steady nutrition that supports overall plant health. A balanced fertilizer applied according to label instructions often works well. Compost is another excellent option because it supplies nutrients gradually while improving soil structure. Many successful clematis growers rely heavily on compost and organic matter rather than aggressive fertilization programs. Spring is typically the most important feeding period. As new growth emerges, the plant benefits from access to nutrients that support development. A second light feeding later in the season may be helpful depending on growing conditions and plant performance. Avoid excessive late-season fertilization that can stimulate tender growth vulnerable to winter damage. Healthy soil forms the foundation of healthy plants. Earthworms, beneficial microorganisms, and organic matter work together to create an environment where roots thrive. Gardeners sometimes focus so much on the visible vine that they forget the underground ecosystem supporting it. Investing in soil health often produces better results than applying large amounts of fertilizer. Observe your plant carefully. Dark green leaves, steady growth, and abundant flowering usually indicate good nutrition. Yellowing leaves, weak stems, or poor bloom production may signal a need for adjustments. The goal is balance rather than excess. A well-fed clematis grows steadily and maintains the energy reserves necessary for long-term survival. Feeding for strength also means avoiding stress. Plants weakened by nutrient imbalances become more susceptible to disease and environmental challenges. Strong, balanced growth improves resilience and helps the vine recover quickly from setbacks. Over time, this approach contributes significantly to longevity. The fifth and final secret is learning the correct pruning method for your specific clematis variety. This is where many gardeners become confused because not all clematis vines are pruned the same way. Incorrect pruning can reduce flowering or weaken the plant, while proper pruning encourages healthy growth and spectacular blooms. Clematis varieties are commonly divided into pruning groups. Some bloom on old wood, meaning flower buds develop on growth produced during the previous season. Others bloom on new wood, producing flowers on current season growth. Some varieties use a combination of both. Understanding which type you have is essential. Gardeners often make the mistake of cutting everything down each year without considering the plant's flowering habit. For varieties that bloom on old wood, this can remove flower buds and drastically reduce blooming. The plant survives, but the floral display suffers. Knowing your pruning group prevents this disappointment. For new wood bloomers, more aggressive pruning is often beneficial. Cutting the plant back encourages vigorous fresh growth and abundant flowers. These varieties tend to be forgiving and are often recommended for beginners because pruning mistakes are less likely to eliminate an entire season of blooms. Old wood bloomers generally require a lighter touch. Remove dead, damaged, or weak growth while preserving healthy stems that contain developing flower buds. This allows the plant to maintain its blooming potential while remaining tidy and healthy. Combination bloomers require moderate pruning that balances preservation of older stems with encouragement of fresh growth. Once gardeners understand the needs of their specific variety, pruning becomes far less intimidating.
Pruning also improves air circulation. Dense, tangled growth can trap moisture and create favorable conditions for disease. Strategic pruning opens the plant, allowing better airflow and light penetration. This contributes to overall health and reduces the likelihood of problems. Do not fear pruning. Many gardeners avoid it because they worry about making mistakes. In reality, clematis is often more resilient than people expect. Even when errors occur, healthy plants frequently recover. The key is learning the general needs of your variety and making thoughtful adjustments over time. When all 5 of these secrets come together, the results can be remarkable. Cool roots, deep planting, proper watering, balanced feeding, and correct pruning create a powerful foundation for success. Each practice supports the others, forming a complete system that helps clematis thrive even when conditions are not perfect. Imagine stepping into your garden each spring and seeing vigorous shoots emerging confidently from the ground. Weeks later, those shoots transform into lush vines, climbing trellises, fences, and arches. Then come the flowers, dozens, hundreds, sometimes thousands of blooms, creating a display that attracts attention from every visitor. This is not reserved for expert gardeners. It is achievable for anyone willing to follow a few proven principles.
One of the greatest joys of growing clematis is watching it mature over time. Young plants may appear modest during their first season, but patience is rewarded. As the root system expands and the plant settles into its environment, growth accelerates dramatically. Year after year, the display becomes more impressive. Many long-lived clematis plants have survived droughts, harsh winters, accidental neglect, and pruning mistakes because they were established correctly from the beginning. Strong roots provide stability. Healthy soil provides support. Proper care builds resilience. Together, these factors create a plant capable of thriving through challenges. If you've struggled with clematis in the past, don't assume you lack gardening skill. Often, a single adjustment can transform results. Maybe the roots were too hot. Maybe the plant was too shallow. Maybe watering patterns encouraged weak root development. Small changes can produce dramatic improvements. Gardening is full of lessons, and clematis teaches one of the most important. Success comes from understanding what a plant truly needs rather than forcing it into unsuitable conditions. When we work with nature instead of against it, plants respond with vigor and beauty. The next time you plant a clematis, remember these 5 secrets. Give the roots shade and cool conditions. Plant deeply for strength and recovery. Water thoroughly to encourage deep roots. Feed for balanced health rather than rapid growth. Prune according to the needs of your variety. Follow these principles consistently, and your clematis will reward you with years of spectacular blooms. Thank you for watching Everyday Harvest. If you enjoyed this guide and want more practical gardening tips that help you grow stronger, healthier plants with less effort, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Share in the comments which clematis variety you grow or plan to plant this season. Until next time, happy gardening, and may your clematis bloom bigger, stronger, and longer every year.